Have you ever wished you could just tell someone what software you needed and they could build it for you? Like, just like that.
Sounds pretty good to me.
Well, that's kind of what we're looking at in today's deep dive. This project is called GPT, and it's trying to build like I don't know, an AI dream team for building software.
Yeah.
And the idea here is that, instead of having to like search endlessly for the right developers or product managers or DevOps engineers, you could have this AI team that just takes care of everything.
It's a fascinating idea for sure. I mean, imagine having a virtual product manager, a developer, and a DevOps engineer, all powered by AI.
And already at a moment's notice to just build whatever you tell it to.
Yeah.
So let's get to the nitty-gritty here. What can this thing actually build?
Well, there are examples that range from really simple stuff, they built a complement generator,
Of course they did.
because who couldn't use a little more positivity in their lives?
That's right. And a rhyming tool, which, could be handy for, I don't know, songwriters, poets, whatever. Okay. So fun stuff. Fun stuff. What about real-world applications?
That's where it gets even more interesting. They've got things like extracting and summarizing news articles from a URL.
Oh, wow.
You can imagine researchers how much time that would save.
Yeah.
Or generating 2D chemical structure diagrams from formulas.
That's really useful.
Yeah. Huge for chemists, obviously.
I can see that being very, very useful in all sorts of fields for any kind of data visualization needs.
Yeah.
They even talk about being able to create a 2D rendering of a 3D object.
Yeah,
So many different fields could use that.
totally. And then there are the examples where you kind of see okay, this is really cool.
Yeah.
They had an animal detector that uses AI to find and box animals in any image
Oh, that's great.
for wildlife research, or just tagging your friends' funny pet photos on Facebook, whatever.
That's cool and practical.
Yeah.
I like it.
And then it seems like they even have a sense of humor because they built a meme generator with this thing.
Of course they did. They had to.
Right, right. And they even include a text-to-speech function. They give a sample of it, and the AI-generated voice says, convert text to speech.
Wow. Okay.
It's almost eerie how realistic it sounds.
All right. So we've established that it can do some pretty amazing things.
Yeah.
But how does it actually work? Like, this is all sounding a little bit like magic to me.
Well, the magic is in the process. It's a 3-step process.
Okay.
First, GPT strategizes.
Oh, interesting.
So it comes up with multiple ways to actually tackle your request.
Okay.
Think of it like, a team brainstorming different approaches before they actually start writing any code.
So it's not just blindly writing code.
No.
It's actually thinking about the problem first.
Exactly. And then there's the implementation and testing phase.
Okay.
So it writes the code for a given strategy, tests it, and if it fails, it learns from its mistakes and tries a different approach.
Wow.
And it can do this up to 10 times
Oh, wow.
before it moves on to the next strategy.
So it's like having a super, super dedicated developer who just never gets tired or frustrated with debugging.
Exactly. Yeah. And then once it finds a working solution, it moves on to the deployment stage.
Okay.
Packages up the code, deploys it, and even creates a user-friendly testing playground.
Oh, very nice.
So you can interact with your brand new microservice immediately. And the best part is, all of this happens automatically. You tell it what you want, and you kind of let the AI do its thing.
So who is this for? Is this only for, super tech-savvy developers, or could someone with less technical expertise use this?
I think that's the beauty of it. It could be for anyone who needs software solutions,
Okay.
from startups with very limited resources to, large enterprises that are looking to automate tasks.
All right. Let's get a little more specific here.
Sure.
Give me some examples of how different teams or organizations could actually use this.
Okay. Imagine a marketing team
Okay.
using this to generate social media posts or even write simple blog articles. Researchers could build tools to analyze data or create visualizations to help them understand complex concepts.
Yeah.
Educators could develop interactive learning applications that are tailored to their students' needs.
And all without writing a single line of code.
Right. The possibilities are kind of endless.
Okay. I'm sold on the potential,
Yeah.
but how do I actually get started?
Well, the interface is designed to be very simple.
Okay.
It's a command line interface, so you just type in dev G2 generate, followed by a description of what you want.
So you literally just tell it what you need.
Yep.
In plain English.
And there are these optional flags that let you specify which AI model you want to use or where to save the project. But the core concept is Incredibly simple.
That does sound pretty easy.
Yeah.
What about cost?
Aha.
Because that's always a big question with, anything that involves AI,
Right. Yeah.
especially if you're talking about, smaller organizations or individuals.
Well, so using the more powerful GPT-4 model will cost you somewhere between 50 cents and $3 per microservice.
Okay.
If that's a little bit steep, you can opt for GPT 3.5 Turbo, which is significantly cheaper.
Okay.
That's going to run you like 5 to 30 cents per microservice.
Okay, so there are options,
Yeah,
depending on your budget and how complex the thing is that you're trying to build.
exactly.
Okay. And then once you've built the microservice, how do you actually run it and deploy it?
Well, running and deploying it is also very simple. You just use the commands devgp run and devgp deploy.
Okay, so they've really streamlined the entire process from start to finish.
Yeah.
But where could this go in the future? Like, I'm trying to think about the bigger picture here.
Well, they actually talk about this.
Oh, good.
They envision a future where we can use natural language to create, deploy, and even update entire microservice infrastructures.
So I could just say, like, hey, DevGPT,
Yeah.
I need a new feature for my app that does X, Y, and Z.
Right.
And it would just handle everything.
And they have some really interesting next steps and nice-to-haves planned. Things like support for popular cloud platforms and local Docker builds, which would give more flexibility. And then even auto-scaling for cost savings.
So they're really thinking ahead
Yeah.
and anticipating the needs of future users.
And one of the things I think is really cool that they mentioned is the ability to update microservices based on user feedback.
That would be incredible.
Yeah, like having a constantly evolving development team.
Yeah.
That's always learning and improving.
It's mind-boggling to think about all the
It
possibilities.
really is.
But let's pause here for a moment and take a deeper look at some of the more technical aspects of DevGPT in part 2 of our deep dive. We'll explore how its underlying technology works and what that means for its capabilities and limitations. See you soon.
Welcome back to our deep dive into DevGPT.
I'm still trying to wrap my head around everything this AI can do, like from
Yeah.
generating memes to building complex data analysis tools.
Yeah.
It's really something else.
It really is pushing the boundaries of what we thought was possible with AI. And one of the keys to understanding its power, I think, is understanding something called reinforcement learning.
Okay, reinforcement learning. That sounds a little intimidating.
It does.
Is it like teaching a dog new tricks with treats?
You're actually not far off.
Okay.
Essentially, DevGPT is rewarded when it produces code that passes the tests it creates.
Oh, interesting.
So it learns from its mistakes, just like we do, and constantly refines its approach until it achieves the desired outcome.
So it's not just pulling code from some database somewhere.
No.
It's actually learning and figuring things out on its own.
Precisely, yeah. It uses this vast knowledge base drawn from, massive data sets of code and text to come up with these creative solutions. And the more it practices, the better it gets at solving problems and writing efficient code.
That's both amazing and a little bit unnerving. It makes you wonder, are we on the verge of being replaced by robot programmers?
I mean, that is a question a lot of people are asking.
Yeah.
But I think instead of thinking of AI as a replacement, it's more helpful to view it as a tool, a very powerful tool that can enhance our abilities.
So it's more like having an incredibly skilled assistant
Right.
who can handle like all the tedious and repetitive coding tasks.
Yeah.
And freeing us up to focus on the more creative and strategic aspects of development.
Exactly. Yeah, it's about this collaborative partnership where humans provide the high-level vision and guidance while the AI kind of takes care of the nuts and bolts of implementation.
I like that. That sounds like the ideal scenario.
Yeah.
Leveraging the strengths of both humans and AI.
Absolutely.
But let's be realistic here for a second.
Sure.
Are there any potential downsides or challenges with this technology that we should be thinking about?
Well, of course, I mean, no technology is perfect.
Right.
Even with AI as advanced as DevGPT, there's always the possibility of unexpected behaviors or glitches.
So it's not just like a set it and forget it kind of thing.
Yeah.
We still need that human oversight to make sure that everything is working as intended.
Absolutely. Especially when dealing with AI-generated code, having, robust testing and monitoring procedures in place is absolutely crucial.
Okay. That makes sense. It's reassuring to know that human expertise is still essential in this process.
Yeah.
What about the cost factor? We talked about the cost per microservice, but what about like the bigger picture?
That's a great question.
Yeah.
I think the long-term cost implications are really going to depend heavily on how DevGPT is integrated into existing workflows and infrastructure.
Yeah.
Some organizations might see significant savings by automating tasks that were previously done by, human developers,
Right.
while others might need to invest in training and support to fully leverage, the AI's capabilities.
So the financial impact could really vary widely,
Yeah.
depending on the specific use case and implementation.
Yeah.
Okay. Speaking of long term, I'm curious about the security aspects of using an AI like DevGPT. How can we ensure that the code it generates is secure, free from vulnerabilities?
Well, I mean, security is paramount when it comes to software development,
Yeah.
especially when using AI. And the developers of DevGPT are acutely aware of this, and they've implemented various security measures, including, rigorous testing and code reviews.
Okay.
However, as with any software, I think ongoing vigilance and updates will be essential to maintain that security over time.
So it's a continuous process,
Right.
just like traditional software development.
Yeah.
We can't just assume that the AI is going to magically create perfect, unhackable code.
Right. I think it's crucial to treat AI-generated code with the same level of scrutiny and security best practices as human-written code.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
It seems like DevGPT it opens up this whole new world of possibilities for software development.
Yeah.
But it also comes with its own set of challenges and considerations.
Right. I think that's a great way to summarize it. DevGPT has the potential to revolutionize how we build and interact with technology, but, it's not a silver bullet.
Right.
It's a powerful tool that requires careful consideration, human oversight, and a thoughtful approach to integration and implementation.
This has been a really insightful discussion. I feel like we've really explored how DevGPT works, its potential benefits and drawbacks, and some of the key considerations for organizations thinking about adopting this technology.
Yeah.
But let's shift gears now and move from the technical aspects to the practical applications. In the final part of our deep dive, we'll explore real-world examples of how DevGPT is already being used across various industries and the potential impact it could have on the future of work.
Welcome back to the final part of our DevGPT deep dive. We've covered a lot of ground so far.
We have.
From the technical, the nuts and bolts of how it works,
Right.
to the potential challenges and considerations.
But now I want to get practical. I want to talk about how this groundbreaking technology is already making waves
Right.
across various industries.
Absolutely.
So where should we start? What are some of the most compelling use cases for DevGPT in the real world?
Let's start with healthcare.
Okay.
A field that is really ripe for innovation.
Yeah.
Imagine doctors being able to simply describe the functionality they need
Sure.
for a specialized diagnostic tool, and DevGPT creates it for them.
No more waiting for traditional software development cycles to
Right.
catch up with the latest medical advancements.
Exactly. And consider the potential for personalized medicine.
Yeah.
DevGPT could create custom applications that analyze a patient's unique genetic data
Wow.
and recommend tailored treatments.
That would be incredible. That would take personalized healthcare to a whole new level.
Mhm.
What about other industries?
Yeah.
How could DevGPT impact, say, finance?
Oh, finance is all about, data analysis and risk assessment, tasks that AI excels at.
Right.
So DevGPT could, build algorithms that detect fraudulent transactions in real time, predict market trends with greater accuracy, or even, create personalized investment portfolios for clients.
It's like having a 247 financial advisor
Right.
powered by AI.
Yeah.
It seems like any industry that relies heavily on data analysis, on automation,
Yeah.
could benefit from this technology.
Absolutely. Manufacturing, logistics, education, even the arts and entertainment industries,
Yeah.
could be transformed by AI-powered software development. Imagine a world where creatives can just bring their visions to life with custom-built tools generated by AI.
Okay, I'm seeing a pattern here.
Right.
I think the key takeaway is that DevGPT can empower people in any field
Yeah.
to create custom software solutions without needing to be coding experts themselves.
Right.
It's like giving everyone a superpower.
I love that analogy. Yeah, it's about breaking down those barriers between ideas and implementation,
Yeah.
democratizing access to technology, and ultimately unleashing a wave of innovation across all sectors.
It's an exciting prospect, but let's address the elephant in the room here for a second.
Sure.
We talked about the potential for job displacement earlier.
Right.
Are there any industries or professions that might be, negatively impacted by this technology?
Well, it's a valid concern. I think it is likely that certain tasks traditionally performed by software developers
Great.
will become automated. And this could lead to, some job losses in the short term, particularly for those who focus solely on, those repetitive coding tasks. But I believe it also presents an opportunity.
Okay, what do you mean?
I think the key is going to be retraining and upskilling workers for the jobs of the future. As AI takes over, more of those routine coding tasks, the demand for professionals who can, design, manage, and ethically oversee these AI systems is going to skyrocket.
So it's not about writing code anymore.
Right.
It's about understanding how to effectively leverage AI as a powerful tool and ensuring that it's used responsibly.
Exactly. I think we need to shift from, those narrow technical skills to broader problem-solving abilities, critical thinking,
Yeah.
adaptability. These qualities will be in high demand in an AI-driven world.
It sounds like we're on the verge of a pretty significant shift in the way we think about work and technology.
I think so. And while there will undoubtedly be, challenges along the way,
Right.
I am optimistic that we can create a future where AI empowers us to achieve more than we ever thought possible.
It's a future I'm excited to be a part of. Well, folks, we've reached the end of our deep dive into DevGPT. We've explored its capabilities, its potential benefits and challenges, and its implications for various industries and the future of work.
It's been an incredible journey of discovery.
It really has. And, we've only just scratched the surface here of what this transformative technology can do. And now we turn it over to you. What excites you most about DevGPT? What concerns you? And most importantly, what will you create with this incredible power at your fingertips?